What's going on, guys? Welcome to Boosted Motorsports. So behind me, I've got this Dodge Dakota with a 392 6.4 liter HEMI, which you can find in a Dodge Charger or Dodge Challenger Scat pack. So here it is in here. If you guys have been to the channel before, you guys know that we do a ton of swaps. So the engine is in here. We also have an 8-speed automatic, and last video we got a lot of stuff set up and underway. We've got our battery tray, our alternator, power steering pump is in here ready to go. We took the intake manifold off so that we could start routing some of our cables, and we did a few other things too. We ran our fuel line, so our fuel line is right here. So once we put the intake back on, we can cut that to length and attach it to our intake manifold and our fuel rail. And we also did some stuff at the back. We've got the Holley in-tank pump in here. So we got that and we hooked up to our fuel line. We also ran the electrical for the in-tank pump. We also lowered the vehicle and we did a little bit of stuff inside here. So right here you can see we've got the Holley touchscreen. So we got that fitted in here and a few other things. So we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff. We got a lot of wiring still to contend with. We got our Holley Terminator X, which we actually in the last episode removed it from the engine bay because these are not waterproof units and you want to put them somewhere where they're not susceptible to water. I know a lot of guys still choose to mount them under the hood, but you're just asking for problems. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a bracket here for this. And we also mounted our electric pedal, our drive-by-wire. You do have to move it over slightly, so I'm gonna have to modify that bracket. So that's another thing on the list. And we're gonna see how many things we've knocked out. So more parts have arrived. If you guys aren't familiar with the channel, we do a lot of stuff. So this truck is a 5.7 HEMI with a stage 3 Scoggin Dickey Parts Center cam. I'll pop the hood, show you guys real quick. So this, we ended up mounting our Holley under the dash and all that stuff. So this is kind of the look we're gonna go for in the sense of just factory fit and finish. This one has a rotary dial for the 8-speed, but on the other one we're gonna be doing a console shifter. And here's under the hood. So we got the 5.7 here, all done clean. So we're going for something similar on the other one. Let me show you a couple others. We've also got this single cab Ram truck with a complete Hellcat swap. This truck is actually turned up a little bit. It ran 10.6 in the quarter mile, full weight. It's a single cab. We also did Hellcat seats, leather stitch dash, and a lot of cool stuff on the inside. This one here is a Hellcat swap Dodge Dakota with a Dodge Charger dashboard and complete interior. I'll show you guys that one a little bit later in the episode because we're gonna have to move it out of the way. And then this is our Hellcat. So this car, we were putting it all back together. So Challenger Hellcat. This one did have a fire, but we fixed it, we painted it, and we are underway of putting it back together and rebuilding the engine over there under that tarp. Anyways, back to the Scat Pack Dakota. Let's get this old radiator out of here because it is horrendous looking. And our new one showed up. So we've got this aluminum radiator with the fan shroud and with an electric fan. This is a really nice looking unit. So this one is just staring us at the face every time we have to work on this thing. So let's zip these off and get this out of here. We'll see if I can tip it forward. I might end up just pulling the top radiator support since it's only held on by a few bolts. Somebody's already had this out, so there's not much holding it on. All right, check that out, you guys. So that definitely cleaned up the look of the thing. Fits nice. We got nice clearance over here. So that's one more thing contended with. We can hook it all up later, but I just wanted to get that in there and get it fitted at least. So what I want to work on now is, like I said, let's go ahead and move on to these two things. Let's get our two brackets, the one bracket modified, the other bracket made for our computer, and we'll go from there. So let me get the bracket for the pedal out of there. We'll cut it, weld it. All right, so I've finished and painted all of our brackets, or at least the one for the Terminator X Max and also for our gas pedal, but our brand new springs just showed up. So we're gonna put in brand new rear leafs because these ones might be tired. They're probably, 20 plus years at this point, give or take. So we're gonna change them out because that is incredibly low and we want to rule out all factors. So since we have brand new springs in the front, we're going to put brand new leafs in the rear. It's going to be way easier to put it on the 2-post. I did put it over here to measure for the drive shaft, but we ultimately decided that let's get the new rear leafs in before we measure for the drive shaft so we can determine what its ultimate ride height is going to be. So even though me and my buddy Dennis pushed it all the way over here, I'm going to push it all the way back here by myself. I'm going to push out our Dodge Challenger Hellcat and get it over here on 2 posts, go up, put the new leafs in. All right, so I figured I might as well put the pinion shim in here as well so that we can clock it according to Beltex specs. So we put this in here. I had to pretty much, what you have to do is you have to raise up this locating pin to accommodate for the size of the shim. So if you see there, now this locating pin will actually, you know, protrude past the shim. Otherwise, if you just left it, it would be below here and your axle wouldn't be centered on your spring. So anyways, got those swapped over. You just need a couple C-clamps. Take that out and then back in. We got our new springs, so let's go ahead, throw them in there and see what she looks like. Okay, there's the old compared to the new, so we shall see how it does. Interesting, that one doesn't have a load spring on the bottom, so I don't know if these maybe got replaced with something that was insufficient, but these look like they got a lot more support to them. So let me swap over the shackle and then we can throw this in. Okay, well, new springs are in. We got our pinion shims in here, so we'll see how that lines up with our drive shaft and our drive line afterwards. But old springs are out. Let's put this thing down and see what it looks like now. All right, moment of truth. Ooh. Ooh, how low will it go? Okay, yeah, it's definitely better, you guys. Definitely better. It was like completely slammed out in the rear. Now it's at least got some distance, so much better. Okay, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna pull out the center seat. In order to take out the center seat, it looks like you kind of have to take out a bunch of seats. So I wanna pull that out. I took that center tray out of there. I'm gonna try test fitting it for a Challenger center console. See how it fits with the stock seats. I know on the Dakota we put the Charger center console, but we also had the Charger dash in there, so kind of want to see how it'll mate up to the stock dash, because it'll be a perfect spot for the 8-speed shifter. Let's see how she goes. Let's get all this out of here. Okay, I think I can safely and confidently say that everybody drop in the comments below, yay or nay. I think pretty much everybody in the comments is gonna vote to keep this center console over the third jump seat. It is kind of cool to have a third seat in one of these trucks since there's not a back seat, but damn, does that look good. Plus, we're gonna be using this shifter for the 8-speed, so having that and having it in a console that it's made to fit, I think you can't go wrong. But comment down below, what do you guys think? Keep it or do you keep the stock jump seat? I want to know. So next up, what I'm going to do is I got to run some more wiring, so let me do that. It's almost a sin to put these stock seats back in. That will look horrendous with that center console, but I don't know. For now, I'll probably leave them out. I might throw them in here temporarily, at least so they're not at least so I don't have to keep moving them around in the shop. But yeah, I think some seats are definitely in order for this. All right, so we're just under the vehicle and ended up running our cable for our 8-speed automatic. So that's ran, that's plugged in. That took a while to do, but got it done. And then what I'm gonna do now is, so that this thing can finally stop leaking, is I've got the two fittings that fit into here, and then I have a loop line that I've just been using for a bunch of different things. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll put in the loop line. That way this won't leak anymore. So let's get those AN fittings in there. So there we go. We got our two AN fittings here. So we converted these to -6, and right now we just looped it so that it's not gonna leak. And then we can even actually, once we get everything else, you know, operational, whether it's electrical and fuel and all that other stuff, we could technically fire it like this and it'll just stay looped, and then we can always run our cooler lines after. But at least now, and then I cleaned up the bottom because this whole pan was wet. It was leaking out of these. So now that's all contended with. And we've got our connector plugged in. So let's put this thing back down. We should be able to put this back on the 4-post now, since we got our pinion shims in here and we've got our new leafs. This is pretty much where the ride height's gonna be. So we can actually put it over there and then measure for the drive shaft so we can get that coming and get it ordered. So we got the Dakota over here on the 4-post. So the suspension is underweight and we just measured for the drive shaft. So that is all set. And now what I'm gonna do is bring it back down, and I'm gonna see if I can get some of the stuff mounted in there. We'll get our Terminator X mounted and all that stuff, see if we can get some wiring a little bit more configured. And my goal is I want to be able to put the battery on this and have the electrical ran so we can start kind of powering things up and configuring stuff. So let's bring this back down, like I said, see how much wiring we can get sorted. Okay, so ended up working on a bunch of stuff. We got our coil drivers here, and up here we've got our Holley Terminator X mounted. Got a bunch of wiring sorted out, so once I get this underway, you're really not going to be able to tell or see anything. It's going to look completely factory. You guys know how I like to do it. And then here's our gas pedal, so that's all mounted square up. So that bracket's all done. She's good. We got perfect travel on our gas pedal. And what I just picked up was we got our battery cable as well. And I picked up a brand new battery. So we got this brand new battery here. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna bring this down a little bit. I wanna get the battery in here, and then I can start running some of our wires. This green one has to go to our fuel pump. Red one needs to go direct to battery power, and it can kind of run some of the stuff. I also got our heater hoses configured, so just been messing with a bunch of stuff behind the scenes. A ton of hours getting all the wiring sorted out, and just miscellaneous stuff. So let me bring this down. Let's get this battery figured out, and then we can run our power wires and start getting underway. My goal for this video is to get this thing to power up at least, and start getting some action. All right, so I'm under here as well. I'll show you guys what I was doing, but I ended up routing our starter cable through there. So I'm gonna go through there, keep it away from the heat. There's a nice cavity through there, through this frame horn for the engine mount. And then it does look like this steering rack has seen better days. So I think if we start this up, it's probably gonna start puking out of here because it looks like it's already leaking and we haven't even started it. But anyways, got that. And then I was just taking a look at some oil filter stuff. This is from whoever was working on it before. They kind of just cut that and left jagged metal. So we'll end up having to smooth that out and probably freshening it up. Something was super rusty in here. I don't know what that is. It's gonna be kind of hard to paint this with the engine in here. Have to talk with the owner and see if they want to take the whole engine out of here and clean up the bay, because it's kind of hard to clean it with everything in here. But yeah, it would be nice to paint it, but it is what it is for now. So yeah, our oil filter will go up there, and let's put this back down so I can get a length on the starter cable, and then I can put an eyelet on that as well. All right guys, so I've been working away on this thing like a madman, and even stuff behind the scenes, which I'll show you in a second. I've gone and picked up a bunch of parts for this thing and just been cranking away on it. So I'm gonna continue to dress in the wires, but that's not that exciting stuff for you guys to watch. A lot of cleaning up and dressing up of wires, like I mentioned. Some ground stuff that I want to sort out, but you guys will notice we've got 2 terminals attached to our brand new battery that we just picked up. And I also want to, just because I'm really picky about stuff, I want to clean up this and probably put some lube on it, even though it is a positive wire and I followed the factory routing through. I probably want to put some lube on it just so it's not standing out like a sore thumb. Like I said, just little details, you guys, so that this will end up being super clean in the engine bay when we're ultimately done. So let me go ahead and show you guys. I still got a bunch of wiring I got to tidy up, clean and finalize, but at least I got some exciting stuff to show. So we've got the Terminator X in here. We've got it connected. We've also got our screen here. I've got our 8-speed shifter here as well. So it's ultimately going to be here. We are going to be going with the Challenger console. So I've got a shifter sitting here, but it's going to end up finding a nice home in the Challenger center console. And I'm going to get that fitted up here as well. Not sure if we're going to switch this out to carpet. I do have to talk to the owner about that, because right now it's just a plastic mat in here, which is kind of base. We could actually switch this to carpet and make it a little nicer in here, but we'll see what the deal is there. So anyways, you'll see the Holley EFI here. I still have this plastic screen protector on it. I'm not going to take that off. I'm just going to leave it on the whole time, and then the owner can do that as they please. So if we go ahead, turn on, everything actually powers up now, and our Holley powers up with the vehicle. So you can see our headlights come on automatically because we don't have the headlight switch connected, but our four ways, everything's working. Check this out, you guys. Look at how fast that thing booted up. So this thing is super cool. This is all touchscreen. Let this thing do its chiming. It's probably mad because it thinks there's low washer fluid, but check this out. You can change between all these different screens. These are gonna be super cool once we get this thing running. So look at this. This is probably one of my favorite ones. Kind of has like this almost like a carbon fiber look in the background, and it's got the light bar to go all the way across, so that'll be a pretty cool graphic there. Here's the other one, and you can see on all the dots across the bottom, or hopefully you guys can see. Hoping the camera's picking this up and it's not super bright, but maybe like that you guys can see a little bit better there. So all these different screens here, it's pretty cool. This is the light bar I was telling you about. Let's start at the front. This is just the one that it initially comes up with. Slide across. Look at all these screens, you guys. And you can customize all this. So these are just the ones that they give you just to mess with right out of the gate, and then you can do a bunch more. This one's got kind of like a little skull in the background, looks like. This one's pretty cool too. Pretty clean looking. And a bunch of other stuff. This is just your vitals, it looks like. Look, battery, fuel pressure, but just a different looking gauge. And then there's menu. You can go in here and customize all that, but now it's working. Our 8-speed shifters got power and all that. There's still a bunch of wires that are disconnected that I have to connect there, and then just with the standard key, so when you turn it off, obviously everything comes on and turns off as factory. So I think that's pretty cool. And like I said, it took a lot of wiring to get to this point. This thing boots up really fast, by the way, so there you go. It boots up just like that. And then as far as other stuff, I did end up picking up some fender flares. Yes, you can buy these aftermarket, but I wanted to get OEM ones because you guys already know OEM has the best fit and finish. And this vehicle is going to get painted as well. So not sure which color paint it's going to ultimately be, but I know the whole vehicle is getting painted. So I figured pick up a set of OEM ones. You know they're going to fit perfectly. And I'll probably throw them on here because it honestly doesn't stand out. These are silver factory ones, even though, you know, they got little scuffs and little marks in them. I mean, they are going to kind of match the rest of it. So I might just toss them on just so we can kind of see what our ride height's going to be. But yeah, I ended up picking up that, and I had a few other parts that I had to get as well. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I went ahead and got the factory wire from a Charger Challenger. So that's what this battery cable came from. So this is the one that typically runs from the front all the way to the rear on a Charger Challenger 300C. So it's the exact same cable if I go around on this side. So this exact same beefy red positive cable that runs through the entire length of the vehicle and runs all the way to the trunk, that's the same cable that is powering everything. So I wanted to make sure we didn't cheap out on the cable. It's a OEM factory graded cable, so we won't have any issues as far as load and all that stuff. So we've got that to there, and then it's jumping over to our starter cable going directly to the starter down below. So I want to get this video out for you guys because it's been a while since I updated you guys on this Scat Pack Dakota, the 392 6.4 powered Hemi. So if you guys are interested in this, I'll link down below as well where you guys can find all these parts, or at least a lot of stuff that we're using to put this thing all together. But ultimately, it's going to take a lot of labor to get it done as dialed in as we're doing it. But if you guys like all these projects that we're doing, check out the other videos on the channel. But thanks for watching, guys. Head over to shopboosted.com if you need my help on any of your swap projects, whether it's just a Hemi swap or a Hellcat swap. I've got consultations over there for you guys. Also, I've got merch, parts, all that stuff. You can pick up a shirt like the one I'm wearing. So go ahead over there, check it out. We'll see you guys on the next video.